This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
Welcome to Check Bags and Big Tags, the no-filter, no-holds-barred podcast where we spill the truth about globetrotting in style. Buckle up, it's time to see the world differently. Welcome to Check Bags and Big Tags. I'm Ilisa Oman of One World Family Travel, here with my co-host, Sean Mouttet of Gallivant Luxury Travel. And we are on YouTube. This is our first video podcast. So you've heard us, y'all have heard us, and this is what we look like. These are us in all our glory. So how you doing, Sean?
I'm doing good today. So this should be a new avenue for us to explore here.
Yeah.
It's one thing hearing the person's voice is another thing seeing them and their facial expressions and everything. And hopefully this will be a more fun interaction with our podcast.
Yeah. I use my hands a lot. Well, you know that. For anyone watching, you start seeing me flail around. That's just normal for me. So disregard.
Disregard.
Just go with it. All right. So why don't we, for anyone that's just joining us, kind of sort of reintroduce ourselves here. So for anyone joining us for the first time, I'm Ilisa Oman. I own One World Family Travel in Newmarket, Maryland. I have been in business since 2007, so 19 years. I specialize in luxury vacations for families of all types, whether you are a newly engaged couple, family with children, a couple with children, young children with teens, retirees, just for everyone. And my goal is to just create your beautiful dream vacation. I've been trained by the Disney Institute. Customer service is of the utmost importance to me. And I have been a finalist for Frederick's Best of the Best for 2 years now. So how are you, Sean? Tell us about yourself.
I am doing good. And I've been in the business since 2017. So going on 9 years. April, actually, my 9-year anniversary is coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Congrats.
I mainly focused on river cruising when I first started, but then I kind of branched out into doing FITs because my clients were already flying to Europe and then they wanted to do stuff before and after the river cruise programs. I do a bit of family travel, mostly with cruise groups. And I just in general, I mean, there's not much I won't do because, as you know, we have the experts that can help us in different destinations. So I try to work with my clients when they come with me with like new and differing destinations because I look at it as a learning opportunity.
I specialize. I book clients all over the world. I've booked them to every continent, but I think most of what I do is Europe, custom European trips. There are certain things I don't do. There are certain things within the United States, domestically within the United States. I do Disney, though that's rare these days, Hawaii, Alaska. I don't do a ton of domestic travel within the United States outside of those.
Yeah, I find a lot of domestic travel now, a lot of people just book it themselves. And what value am I really bringing to it?
Exactly.
Unless it's like more highly specialized stuff, like they want like a spa vacation in Arizona. They want to go to Napa Valley and spend a week there doing wine tastings. I mean, there's different things I will book within the U.S. And I won't turn down people for hotels and car rentals either. It takes me 2 minutes to book it. So if the client wants me to book it, I'm going to book it. We have access to do it. It just depends. A lot of them, though, a lot of my clients they don't call me for the hotels and stuff anymore when they're just coming to the U.S. or traveling within the U.S. But I'm always like, guys, you never know.
Right.
Try me. Yeah.
So, but that's what we're here for. So let's get started. So there's a lot going on. Let's do a TSA update. So TSA was a hot mess the past few weeks. The airports, if anyone had traveled in the past few weeks, it was a hot mess because a lot of TSA agents were not getting paid. They walked off the job or called in sick. And the lines were just at BWI last week. The line for security was just like out the terminal, wrapping around the terminal. That happened actually a day I was flying out last week on Thursday. We flew out of Dulles, which is rare for us. Normally we do BWI, but we happened to fly last week out of Dulles and walked right through security. Thank goodness, because lines were hours long outside at BWI. So TSA agents are now getting pay. They're getting retroactive pay for what they've missed. So they are back on the job for now, and the airports are normalizing.
Yeah, and that's amazing. They can now get paid because the president says he can pay them. So therefore, you could have paid them weeks ago.
Exactly.
And that's my 2 cents on that topic.
But having said that, though, this is not the first time TSA has been affected by a government shutdown, and we are still in a partial government shutdown. So who
Yeah.
knows what's going to happen down the road? We know they're getting some pay now, so hopefully it will continue. But this is not the first time we've seen this. So what can travelers do just to protect themselves in the future?
I number one is arrive earlier to the airport than usual. So if you're a person that likes, if it's domestic travel, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go an hour before and get on my flight. Not the smartest thing to do right now.
Any
I give
anytime,
myself
actually.
I give myself under normal circumstances, like 2.5 hours, right? Now I would probably push it to 3, maybe 3.5, because even if I'm in a line, once I know I have time and the line is moving, I'm not gonna feel as stressed. But if I'm in a line and I know I have limited time, that just ramps up your anxiety like tenfold. So giving yourself time, all these airports now, find somewhere to sit and eat, have a drink, sit down and read a book. I mean, there's stuff to do to pass the time. And I find like when I'm in the airport, it doesn't seem like the time is crawling. I never feel like I'm there too long.
No, I
So
mean, yeah, get yourself early. It's always been recommended for domestic flights, get there 2 hours early, 3 hours for an international flight. That should just be your norm. Don't be one of those people that, tries to see how close you can get, to boarding time.
like those TikTokers we love that are
Whatever.
like, look, I reached to the airport 15 minutes before my flight
Yeah,
and I got on.
well, you know what airlines now are doing? They are closing their doors at 15
Yeah.
minutes. They've been saying on TikTok, they're like, yeah, I've reached there. I want to get there 15 minutes before, right? When they're boarding. No, now the airlines are trying to close the doors 15 minutes before to prevent that.
Yep.
So get there early. There are other things you could do also. Take advantage of things. If it's within your budget, TSA PreCheck and Clear. TSA PreCheck is $120 for a 5 year. For 5 years, Clear is much more expensive. It's like $239 for a year. But if it's within your budget and it's not going to, hurt you financially, consider doing that. Well, at least 5 different airports now are allowing you to reserve a time to go through TSA.
Cool.
Yeah, so I actually had a time reserved at Orlando last week, but we did end up getting there after our cruise. We did get there much earlier, so I didn't even bother with that, but I did have a time reserved just in case. Google your airport code followed by the word reserve. So for example, if I'm flying out of Orlando, MCO reserve, and you can reserve a time. I cannot recall off the top of my head the other airports that are doing. I think Phoenix might be one, Minneapolis might be one, but I cannot recall off the top of my head.
I'm
But
sure they'll roll it out across more airports.
yeah.
Also, once things with TSA normalize, hopefully services get back to normal.
Mhm.
But definitely, even in this circumstance, the TSA pre-check and clear does help
Mhm.
when they're trying to move people through security. Also, what's been a big boon, at least in Fort Lauderdale, is now that they've upgraded a lot of the machines in the airport, you no longer take off your shoes or have to take your laptops, iPads, whatever, out of your bags, put it in a separate bin. They now have these machines that you can just scan everything and you. And that definitely has decreased the time being spent at TSA because I know in
Absolutely.
the past you line up and they're telling you what to do. And then people just think their brain shuts down when they reach the TSA line. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, do I need to take off my belt? Oh, I left my belt on. And then all these things happen. And all these things like a car, like a traffic jam, it starts to back it up when people are just slow. I'm so quick when I get to that checkpoint. I'm like so organized. Like
Yeah.
prior to even reaching it, I'm like taking off my watch, putting my cell phone in my knapsack. I already have the laptop and everything out, holding it in my hand. So I'm like boom, 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 and ready. And yet you still see people that just do not seem to function well when they're going through the process.
So, and there's no consistency though amongst airports, and that's what drives me up the wall. So hopefully at some point we will all have consistency because, for example, out of Dulles, I didn't have to take out my laptop or any electronics or anything like that. But at Orlando, I did have to. I had to take out all my electronics. So there's no
Yeah.
consistency. Really, and I haven't been in a situation where I've had to take off my shoes. I've not been in that situation for a long, long time. But it
Yeah.
always made me nuts when I know I have to take off my shoes. I wear shoes on the plane that are easy to slip on and off. But I'm always
Yeah.
stuck behind that person that, has worn like gladiator shoes, like wrapped up their
Right.
thighs, or like, or, the most complex boots with straps. And I'm sitting there waiting behind them while
Lord.
they, unstrap themselves.
It happens. I even travel without a belt now. I wear pants that I don't need a belt with, t-shirt, shoes that I know I can take off easily. People, check your socks. This is not being humorous here. I do not want to see your toes peeking through your busted hole in your sock at the airport. And it does happen. Come on, you're going out in public, like
You know,
pick
just
pick
like,
that pair of socks without the hole.
like your mother always told you to wear the underwear, the clean underwear without holes in it. Same with your
Yeah.
socks, just,
Same with your socks.
be
I
put
don't want to
together,
see your
people.
toes sticking out, with your uncut toenails, all that. No, too much going on at the TSA line sometimes.
Nasty feet. So, all right. So that's what's going on with TSA. We'll keep everyone updated on what's going on as things progress with the shutdown.
The main thing is, especially now when you know things are a little trying getting through the airport, set your mind straight before getting there to get yourself in the mindset that you are going to be dealing with what could be a stressful and anxious situation, and just kind of meditate to yourself, like I know what I'm going to be getting into. I am not going to let it get the better of me. And while you stand in that line, make sure you have your patience pants on and
Mhm.
just don't let it rile you up, because you're in a situation you have no control over. So you may as well just relinquish the control to the universe and get through that line when you get through the line. But
Exactly.
main thing, give yourself more time right now. Get to the airport early.
So, have you ever lost your passport or anything overseas?
I personally have not, but
Uh-huh.
I was on a trip to Italy year before last. It's not even last year now. Wow, time is flying. And we all left Bari to Rome. And within 2 hours of being in Rome, two of the travel agents got pickpocketed and had their passports stolen in separate parts of Rome. And then when they went to the embassy the next day, that's when they realized it had happened to two of them. And these were seasoned travelers, travel a lot through Europe and stuff. And they were actually embarrassed that they got pickpocketed. But it can happen. You can lose your passport. You can have your passport stolen. I mean, your passport could be damaged and you can't travel on a damaged passport. So I think that's one thing people don't mention. If there's a rip or a tear on a page, it's a no-go for a lot of countries. So if these situations arise while you're abroad, what do you do? So pre-travel, what I do is I photocopy scan my passport information page, right? And if I have any visas that may be in particular for that trip, I scan those and I upload them to a safe spot in the cloud that I can access them from anywhere. Another precaution I take is I usually send my mom, she usually has a copy of these documents too at home, so that if we do need access to them and we lose them, it's a safe bet. A lot of people also now photocopy their
Right.
passport information page and keep a copy of that with you when you're moving around the city and stuff. Because people don't realize in a lot of countries, it's actually illegal to be there as a visitor and not have your proper documentation on you all the time. A lot of us just assume, oh, I put it in the safe, I'm good to go. Now, what happens if for some reason you encounter law enforcement and you need to prove that you're there? At least if you have a copy on you, you could show them and say, I have it in the safe.
Right. I think Italy is one of those countries. Italy is one that you're supposed to have your
Yeah.
passport on you. So, yeah, I've always done the same. I always at least I've, scanned it, or I have a photo of it on my phone plus a photocopy of it. And I always make sure someone not traveling with me has a copy of it. But what else to do when now we're traveling? What to do? What not to do?
What
When you're
not
on
to do.
Yeah, when you're on a plane, do not take out your passport and put it in the seat back in front of you. Don't do that in the pocket. I don't know who does, but apparently people do. And, you know,
My other one is my passport is on my person when I'm on a
mhm,
flight. I don't
mhm,
care how long the flight is. My passport is not even in my knapsack that goes under the seat in front of me. I have gotten into the habit of having my passport in my front pocket of my pants that I'm wearing, because that's where I feel it is safest. If I
mhm.
fall asleep, who's sticking their hand down my pants to steal my passport?
Or you never know, Sean, now
You
you
never
never
know.
know
They may be some
what
perv
triggers
on the
them to
plane,
stick their hand down your pants there, so
but also do not put your passport and your wallet in your carry-on
suitcase, and
bags above you.
oh, no, right,
No, people have gotten money stolen, passports stolen, all in flight. It
right.
happens.
Or someone walks off with your bag after the flight. Or
Yep.
what if you have to gate check your bag? All of a sudden they tell you you need to gate
Yeah.
check your bag. And never, ever, ever put your passport in your checked luggage. People have done that. It's been known to happen.
Even with
People
the gate check-in, some people have their medication
Mhm,
in the carry-on. You're allowed one personal item. Me personally, my medication is in my knapsack, or at least a couple days of it that I know, okay, I'm covered for a few days if something were to go awry with the luggage. So that
uh-huh,
kind of falls into the whole thing with your passport. Your passport is the most important document when you're traveling,
uh-huh,
other than visas if you needed one to enter a particular country. So
right.
you want to keep it as safe as possible.
Exactly. Now, if you rent a car, do not put your passport in the glove compartment of your rental car. Again, I don't know anyone that does this. I don't know why you would do that, but apparently it's something that is done. Don't put it in the glove compartment of your rental car. You could forget it there. Your car could get stolen. Who knows what'll happen? Just don't do that.
A lot of places that people feel are safe and they go park their car
Yeah,
at the beach. And it happens in many countries. There's a lot of breaking into cars and theft. So you should not be leaving your passport in a rental car.
exactly.
It's just people are watching you. People who do these types of things, they know what to look out for. They know who to look out for. So it's up to you to make sure you're taking the precautions so that you don't fall prey to this type of thing. But again, you don't leave your passport in a car. You don't leave your laptop in a car. It happens right here in even my own building. I'm like, people come home from work and left like a briefcase on the back seat of their car, and then the car gets broken into, and they're like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, people have done that in my neighborhood, and we hear they're like, "Oh, I left
Yeah.
my wallet in my glove compartment. It was stolen." Oh, and was your car locked? Oh, no, the car was unlocked. Well, idiot. So just don't do that stuff. I don't know if you're trying to show off your passport or whatever, but don't lay it out on the table when you go to a restaurant. There's no reason you need to have your passport out, but people do that as well. They over and they take it out and they slap it down on the table. Don't do that because anyone could just walk on by and you're not paying attention and just swipe that swipe.
Ladies, your handbags, do not
Mhm.
hang them on the back of the chair when you're in a restaurant.
Growing up, that was always the norm is you're in a restaurant anywhere, locally, whatever, you put your handbag on the back of your chair. I don't know why anyone ever thought that was safe, but that's just like the norm when I was growing up. Don't hang your bag on the back of the chair. Put it on your lap, wrap it around the strap around your feet, but don't do that. And now when I do carry my handbag, my purse, and I'm traveling, if I keep my passport in it, it's like on the innermost pocket closest to my body, so zipped, so it would be really hard for someone to get in there. Someone would really have to work hard and root around in
I
my
also have like a smaller crossbody bag. And
Mhm.
then depending on what time of year I'm traveling, well, summertime, you just put a crossbody, keep it in front. At wintertime, it can get covered under my coat. So the strap's not even available for somebody to cut. I carry this extra little crossbody bag because
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to be carrying my knapsack out with me every day when I leave the hotel. So that's a good investment. There's so many different ones available on Amazon and they're not expensive that it's worth it. And you could pack it in your luggage easily. It's small. And then when you get there, you have your little bag. You could then put the things you need in there, cell phone, extra battery, something that's big enough to hold the major things you want to have in there. That's also a great idea to have and to
And
keep stuff safe.
for ladies, if you're looking for handbags that are kind of theft-proof, Travel On and Pack Safe have really good lines of theft-proof purses, and they're more fashionable these days. Because there was a time they were quite unfashionable, but
Yeah.
there's some ones that are pretty nice looking, and they're theft-proof. That's something to consider. And there, of course, you can always do the old school money belt, inside your pants or whatever, inside your shirt. People love it. If you go to the Rick Steves boards, people on those boards love it. They love their money belts that go inside their pants and shirts. I'm like, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not rooting around my pants for my money or inside my shirt. I'm not going, so, but people do it and people like it.
They're like, somebody's got an itch.
Yeah, I see that. I've never got the hang of like, so I stick some money and stuff in this money belt, and now I need to go pay for something. Like, what exactly am I doing? How are we working this? So, but people do it.
Okay, so that it happens. You lose
Hmm.
it, you get it
We're all
stolen.
human. It's,
What
you know,
it happens. What do you do when you realize, "Oh, my passport is gone?" So how are you gonna deal with it? First thing is stay calm, don't panic, right?
because
And
there are solutions. You will get your passport. You will get it
you'll
back.
get your passport back. So first thing you wanna do is file a police report, right? To note the theft and have a legal document showing that you've reported your passports.
And many countries actually require that before they will do anything. So you have to, it's not that the police are going to go out and, do an investigation, retrieve your passport, but you do need to have a record of it.
Yeah, there'll be a process. Usually your concierge in your hotel or somebody even on the hotel staff at the front desk could tell you where you need to go to the police station and all that. So it's not very difficult. Then if you are American, obviously you're going to want to find the US embassy, right? When you contact the embassy, they deal with this on a daily basis, I'm sure. I'm sure it's like a regular occurrence, more regular than you realize. This is where those documents you photocopied are going to come in handy, or having access to them in the cloud are going to come in handy, right? Because you're going to need the passport copy if you have another form of ID. And I think they do the photos for you for the emergency passport
Yeah.
at the
They'll,
embassy itself. So
they'll
you
take
don't
care
need
of
to
all.
have the photos. It can take 24 hours to several days to happen. In the case of the ones in Rome, they went in and got it all within the time slot they went there. But it doesn't mean
And
it's always going to happen
right.
that way.
But if you have your documents available, if you have copies of your previous passport, the lost one, that will speed it up. You are in much better shape than someone that does not have any record of those. So,
For
you know,
sure.
so always know. I like to know when I'm going to traveling abroad. I like to know in advance where the consulates and the embassies are. So that's something you could find out before. That's always
This is
good.
information we can provide to our clients and we do when you book travel with us and you have your itinerary app. These are the types of things we throw in there, little tidbits for you. Okay, you're going to be in Italy. Here's the consulates there you need, and the local phone number to contact them if you need to. These are just little tidbits.
And while you're dealing with that as your travel advisor, you may have some disruption in your travel. So we may need to rearrange your train tickets, your flights, your hotels. So while you're dealing with your passport, you have us working the rest of it. So once you get that passport, the rest of your trip is seamless. So something to
So
consider.
don't panic. Make sure
Yeah.
you have your documents, photocopy it, and upload it to the cloud before you travel. And if it does happen, there is a solution. You're not going to get trapped abroad.
Yeah.
Of course, it's easier in some countries than others to get your passport back. I don't know what's going to happen if you're in Nepal or
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's a consulate there, but
There's still a
obviously,
consulate.
yeah,
So
but there may be some difficulty accessing the services, but it is possible.
And I knew someone, I have an acquaintance, her daughter used to play soccer with my daughter, and she was in Barcelona when things started shutting down for COVID and needed to get home, and that's when she discovered her passport was stolen. At the same time, she was trying to get back home, when the world was shutting down.
But
She
it's not
managed to
fun, and
get to the
I've seen it
consulate.
happen to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, and the consulates could be just a small consular office. They have one in Cancun. It's not a massive embassy, but there's a small consular office. So that's what you're looking for. You might not. It's like not necessarily a full embassy. You're looking for a consular office, a consulate.
And what's going to help you not be as stressed also when you lose this passport and you realize that you may have to stay a couple extra days? You bought that travel protection plan. Many of them will cover occurrences like this happening. So you could get your money back or, it's not going to be that much of a financial burden had you purchased a travel protection policy.
Exactly. So that's one reason to have your travel protection. And we'll be talking more about that because that is the hill
Yeah.
we die on here. So we're talking about mishaps and things happening abroad. So all right, we've worked through the lost passport now. Now, recently I had a client and she and her family were over in Italy and they had an amazing time, except one period of time towards the beginning of their trip when they were in Rome, norovirus or something just swept through the family. Fortunately, um, it was kind of like a 24-hour bug, so it was a matter of just some rest and fluids. what do you do if you get sick abroad? Because that, again, is something that's sometimes unavoidable for
Again,
them.
travel protection helps.
Travel protection helps, but what do you do in that moment? So
They'll
my
give you local number and local access to a doctor. So in that moment, you're not feeling well.
So my clients that were there, so the ones that were the first few, because it kind of happened in waves, that got sick, they went to a pharmacy. When you're over abroad, especially in Europe, you're going to find pharmacies on every block. You're going to find them everywhere. And they are not like what you're going to have here in the United States. It's nothing like it here because you can go in and you could get your usual over-the-counter meds that we get here.
You're
You could
not
get
getting multi-symptom
fine.
anything.
Right?
There's no multi-symptom
Exactly.
medications. I happened to be in Germany and it's like, oh, what are your symptoms? Oh, we'll give you this for this and that for that. There's no Tylenol multi-symptom. At least it wasn't in Germany a couple of years ago when I went.
No,
They don't have the breadth and range of the over-the-counter drugs we have in this country,
but
from
what
my
they have
experience.
there, because I went in Rome once for, a headache, because I do get migraines and it was pretty bad, and
Mhm.
they gave whatever they gave me, just not it just got rid of it, but you go in there, they will have whatever you want. They will have basic beauty supplies, feminine hygiene products and stuff, but their people in there, the pharmacistas, are trained medical professionals. So you can go in and they will diagnose and treat minor illnesses such as stomach bug, norovirus, or whatever. And they will give you meds that you can't necessarily get here in the United States, but will knock it out. So always if you're not feeling well, go to the pharmacy and talk to them. By the way, I happen to know I did find Wegovy in a pharmacy in Spain for significantly less than you can get it here. So
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Just throw it out there. And then, pretty soon, like the patents on Ozempic and everything are up. And the Indian generic drug makers have already said it's coming.
Yeah.
So all these things will push the price down.
You can ask for things in the pharmacy, see what they've
Finally,
got.
I could lose that extra 30 pounds I've had on for a couple of years now.
Don't even talk to me about that. That's just but so, yeah, so the first thing, if you get ill abroad, go to the pharmacy. Talk to your hotel. So one of the people in my group that got sick was a pregnant woman. So that was where the big concern came in. So what we did was we arranged so she can spend a little more time resting in the morning before they went to Florence. We got her a late checkout. And as part of the package that I arranged for them, she had a 24/7 concierge. So they worked to change her train tickets for her so she could go a little later in the day. But once they got to Florence, they went to the hotel concierge who arranged for a doctor to come to the hotel for my client. They had a GI doctor came there. He spent 2 hours with her, gave her an IV, fluids, and vitamins, and it only cost €250.
Yeah, imagine doing that here.
If you could find someone to do
If
that
you
here,
could find someone to do it.
that was it, and by the next morning, it was if she hadn't even been sick. So, talk to your hotel concierge as well, but, yeah, they could arrange for a doctor. I mean, the services there are amazing.
So after my German experience years ago, I think it was in 2018. It was in 2018. From now on, when I travel, I have a couple things. I carry a couple packs of emergency with me, and I do not just the regular one that's the vitamin C. There's one that has other stuff in it, like zinc and D and all that. I religiously, while I'm traveling, I take one of those every morning with my breakfast. The other thing I do is I pack multi-symptom cold medicine and flu. Dayquil, NyQuil, not brand specific. I a lot of times buy Walgreens or CVS brand, whatever's the equivalent of having a day and nighttime multi-symptom, multi-effective thing. I have that. Imodium. You do not want to have like a bad stomach and then have to travel. I will share a story. In Mexico, I did get Montezuma's revenge. Started the night before we had to leave. And then we were at Hard Rock Riviera Maya and had to make that 1.5 hour drive to the Cancun airport and then wait for a flight. And thank God I had something to help me because I was panicked that I wouldn't even be able to do the car ride to the airport. So Imodium or some kind of thing to settle your stomach, great to have. Cough drops. You don't want to get on a plane and you've gotten sick abroad and then you sit on that plane and you're the one hacking and coughing all the way home. So a couple cough drops are good to have. Whatever prescription medication you have, for me, I take it to cover my time there and probably a week or
A
two
little you wanna
after.
Exactly.
I always have a buffer, right? So you always need to have a buffer. Next thing is, know how your travel insurance works. A lot of the insurance will have a concierge number. So if something does go wrong, you call them and say, hey, I'm in Madrid. This is what's going on. And they will help guide you through the process of what you need to do to use your insurance and to get you to a proper provider. So that's that little extra layer of security there for you and keeping your anxiety down.
I always have
So
my little pharmacy with me as well. I always have, besides I have ibuprofen, I've got my Excedrin for headaches, I've got Imodium, Pepto, all that stuff. I've also started bringing along Azo. Ladies, bring along some Azo with you. So, and in the event that you might have a UTI, because that is a very real thing. And I won't share my
yeah, and so
experience.
most doctors will give you a Z pack. Like
Hmm.
a lot of like my parents when they come up, their doctor gets them all situated with whatever meds in a Z pack. A lot of your doctors, if you tell them, "Hey, I'm traveling," they will prescribe it for you so you have it before you go.
Like, I know
You
you
know?
went to Kenya and I went to Kenya, and we were given prescriptions to take with us in case we get sick, because things like Imodium will treat the symptoms, but they're not necessarily treating the illness.
Yeah, the
So,
illness. They're not getting that bacteria or the virus. So
if you're going to be traveling abroad and maybe an extended time, ask your doctor for a prescription for antibiotics. But always carry some with you. Know the travel insurance, how it works, but also, again, buy the travel insurance, buy the travel
for
protection,
sure.
save all
And
your receipts.
then make sure if you do see the doctor that you get all the documentation you need to make sure you can claim on your travel protection.
Save all
Like a little
receipts.
doctor's notes won't cut it. Like
Yeah. Save all your receipts, even your stuff, for if you had to go into the pharmacy, whatever you had to buy, just save all your receipts to submit to insurance, get all the documentation. You'd be surprised at how many people walk out there and don't even bother to get documentation from the doctor or a report of what's happening or anything like that. So save it all.
and we could segue into this because I am somebody who likes to keep connected abroad. And why do you need to stay connected abroad? Because some of these situations may happen, and having the power to use your phone to do what you need to do, to me, is important. It's a non
Mhm.
negotiable traveling at this point. Most of our cell phone providers in the US will have an international roaming plan. That is usually not the most cost effective, other than T Mobile, that gives you data roaming when you're out of the country. Right. I have my phones on a business account, so I get 5 gig of high speed data with the plan I'm on when I roam. But what I've found that I started to do more because my phone is unlocked, I purchased an eSIM before I go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
did
something
that.
I know nothing about, like, 'cause I
So
just
the last time I went to Trinidad, I ended up staying so long that I went and I got prepaid data plan. And it made a huge difference with how the phone worked, even when I was out of the house, because there's two cell phone providers there, Digicel and B Mobile. And because of where my parents live and T-Mobile roams on Digicel, when I'm in the house, if it's not for Wi-Fi, I have no connectivity at all. So I went and got a B-Mobile number. I go there quite a lot. And just to keep my number active now, I pay like $3 every 4 months to keep that phone number active, right? And then when I know I'm going to Trinidad, I can go on and buy a data plan for the period of time I'm there.
So what do you
So
recommend? So if someone is, say, going to Europe or whatever, and they're not familiar with it, they wanna
there
buy.
are, depending on the countries you're going to, and remember, because of the European Union and all the laws and things that govern it, if you're buying any data plan within the EU, it has to work even if you cross borders.
Okay.
That's how it's set up there now. So, for instance, in Italy last time, I bought the eSIM through Vodafone. Like I went online and checked too. And I set up the eSIM, the travel eSIM, before I even left the house. Got to Italy, switched on that line. But it is important. Your phone has to be unlocked. If your phone is locked to your carrier, you're not going to have the option to have an eSIM or even another physical SIM in the phone. It's locked out. So all these things we're recommending are based off of you having an unlocked phone. But the data plans, like I think for Vodafone, I might have paid €15 for like some crazy amount of data. It might have even been unlimited while I was there. And it did make a difference. I still kept my T-Mobile line active because I can data roam with it. And then I made most of my calls. So most of the providers here too, once you're on Wi-Fi, you can make Wi-Fi calls back to the US and not get charged. Like in Trinidad, I just pick up my phone and dial home, dial the US. When I'm on Wi-Fi, I don't get charged for those calls.
A
If
lot of
I'm off the, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of resorts, like if you're in the Caribbean, a lot of resorts, that's a feature that they offer for you is free calling back to the United States.
Yeah.
So if you ever need it
So
there.
if you need it, but for us to work while we travel, it's kind of important we stay connected. But it's just staying connected gives you a bit of freedom. Also, having like the data plans there, you're not worried about data restrictions. If you buy the eSIM there and you get this like unlimited data for, let's say you pay €20 for 2 weeks, right? It's worth it to me because then I'm using my maps, I'm streaming music, I'm doing everything like I'm normally doing at home, other than picking up the phone and direct calling. But I will do that if I'm on Wi-Fi. I could wait to make the calls, or I let everybody know I'm traveling and I'll use WhatsApp call in, or you can use FaceTime audio. That is using data. It's not you actually dialing through the phone. So there's different ways around making sure that you're going to have enough data to use. And then there's like a plethora of companies online that sell these travel sets. Some better than others. I have friends who recommend different ones, but do your research. There's a lot of reviews online about these, and setting up an eSIM on your phone is like so easy. It's really not a thing to do. And then that way when you land in the country and you switch that line on, boom, you have data right there in the airport when you first get
All right. So there. And so I was on a cruise last.
so
Yeah.
Alyssa went on a little trip recently, and she just came back and she went on the Utopia of the Seas, which is one of Royal Caribbean's newer Oasis class ships
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of has every single bells and whistle you could think of on a cruise ship, and that is kind of being used for 3 and 4 night cruises to really introduce people new to cruising to the cruise experience. And I feel like it's set up to just overwhelm them with all you can do on a cruise.
Oh my God. So we went and we just went on a 3 night. So the Utopia does 3 and 4 night cruises. And we went on a quick 3 night for our anniversary, 33 years. That's where you're supposed to say happy anniversary, Sean.
Happy
Congratulations,
anniversary.
33 years.
You made
Anyway,
it. You did it.
yay! So we got on the ship and I will tell you, 3 nights is not enough on that ship. Because there's so much to do. Our Oasis class ships are my favorite class of Royal Caribbean ships because it's just got everything there. I mean, between the dining venues, the pools, if you're into water slides, the entertainment venues, it's got the water show on it. It's got zip lining, the flow rider, rock climbing. They've got the aqua theater show. There's ice skating, which I don't do.
And I feel like Utopia, yeah, also set it up where the colors and everything are a lot more vibrant than some of the past Oasis
No,
class
it is
ships.
definitely it's like veering almost towards the icon class vibrancy,
Yeah.
so it's definitely an active. It's a ship now for a 3 nighter. It is spring break, so there were a lot of kids on it, okay? But there are also a lot of birthday groups, a lot of bachelorette parties. People, if you're easily offended, I don't know if this is the cruise that you want to take your little kids on, because there are a lot
Song
of
to song, song, song.
you know, so amongst other things. So yeah, but there's a lot of that going on. We had a great time, but it definitely was not enough time to spend on the ship because so now
Did it feel like a Vegas atmosphere on the ship?
no, it really didn't so much. It's just like when I say if you're easily offended, I'm talking more about like the clothes and the things that the people were wearing. But it was otherwise it didn't feel much different than an Icon class ship or the
Right.
other Oasis class ships. And the ships are big enough. So we didn't have any days at sea. So it was one day in Nassau and one day at their private island, Coco Cay. So whenever we go to Nassau, we've been to Nassau before, we never get off the ship. That's like a sea day for us. But we decided this time Royal Caribbean built their new Royal Beach Club Paradise Island. So we decided to check that out, purely research. It is not like Royal Caribbean's private island where you can get away without spending a dime going there. You have to get a pass to go to the Royal Beach Club in Paradise Island. We spent, for the two of us, $240.
Too much.
And what it gets you is because if you're someone that purchased a beverage package on the ship or you're someone that has like diamond status like my husband and I do, and we get free drinks, that doesn't apply at the Royal Beach Club. So you still have to pay for your drinks there. So this pass gets you your unlimited Wi-Fi, unlimited beverages, unlimited food. So if you've already
Is
purchased
it walkable from where the ship docks? Like you
no,
walk there or they have trams?
they've got a water taxi. Take
Okay.
a water taxi, you pick it up on the piers, you get off the ship, takes you directly to the Royal Beach Club. On the way back, the water taxi drops you off near the straw market in town.
Okay.
So, and then you have about like a 10-minute walk back to the ship.
They probably made an agreement with them that if the people are coming off the ship, you need to pass them through that wonderful market area that they created there
Yeah,
to see if people will spend
that's
money there.
absolutely what it was. And I understand that. I get that, that they wanted people to, if they're getting off the ship, they want them in, spending some money. Would I do Royal Beach Club again? No.
You can
Too
do a
long.
resort for a day pass, right?
Exactly.
And your resorts for a day pass gets you a lot more benefits than spending that money to go to Royals
Because
Beach
un
Club.
unlimited food, I did not think the food was anything special for unlimited. There was nothing unlimited that I wanted there. I don't need fries or a fish sale, how much of that. So I didn't think
Yeah.
that. Again, I get personally 4 free drinks a day, so it was a waste for me, and then, I already had internet. And the beach there, yes, it looks beautiful, but it was trucked in sand or brought in. So so it's very shelly. It's very, you could feel the shells. It was not an even beach, so it was kind of on a slant, and we're lying in our chairs, and I'm like holding on for dear life because I felt like I was just going to go sliding down because it was kind of not even. Minor, just me being a princess. But no, personally for me, I did not think going to Royal Beach Club was worth it. The powers that be would not be happy to hear me say that. But I think there are, if you want, you could get a day pass in Nassau to other resorts. You could go Junkanoo Beach is free. You could go if you want a beautiful beach, go to the
Yeah.
beach there a mile away from the port.
And then NCL, remember NCL last year had interestingly, they had removed the ability to use your beverage package at Great Stirrup Cay, and now they've reversed that. So,
The next
if
day,
I am paying for like a full on premium beverage package, and then
yeah,
you're telling me that I go to this also, I assume your beverage packages work at Coco Cay, right?
yeah. So the next day
So
was a visit to Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. I love Coco Cay. Coco Cay is outstanding. You can go onto the island and not spend a dime because they've got the pool there, the Oasis Lagoon. They've got beaches complete with chairs and umbrellas and wait service. And you don't have to spend a dime on that because your beverage package is carried over. They also do have things you could purchase, like their Coco Beach Club, a pass to that, or their Hideaway Beach, which is the adult only beach. But otherwise, you don't have to spend a dime, and that's what's really nice. We stayed on the ship because it was kind of overcast, not a windy day, so we just stayed on the ship
huh.
to try and enjoy the ship. 'Cause we've been to Coco Cay many times, so it's no big deal. But, yeah, so that's it. But, Utopia, I've sent clients on the 4-night, and they've had a great time, and it's a great introduction to cruising. If you're not sure, if you're not sure you've never cruised, and you don't know if you wanna do a week-long cruise, yeah, this is a great introduction.
And a little personal announcement from me. We like to be certified because we like to make sure we have the best information
Mm,
for our agents. So right now I have my ACC and my CTA
mhm.
from the Travel Institute and from CLIA. I have signed up yesterday for my VTA with
Yes.
ASTA. So I'm excited to get that started.
I have my PTA, and honestly, it's the best training. All travel advisors, in my opinion, should go through that. So good for you because it
Yeah.
is outstanding training.
And then, as we discussed yesterday, you're in Maryland, and they're now going to be requiring like sellers of travel as well as you having some kind of insurance. That's what's in the works.
So the Maryland House of Delegates has passed a bill, and I think the Senate still needs to take it up in Maryland. It will require all travel advisors to pay a $300 registration fee and prove they have $1 million of errors and emissions insurance.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like it because what people don't seem to realize is there is no uniform training or certification for travel advisors. People may see travel advisors advertising themselves. I'm a certified travel advisor. That's actually not a real thing because there is no one uniform training or certification for travel advisors in the
Like I
United
said, like
States.
I did CLIA and then
Right,
I also did the Travel Institute. I didn't have to do either of them.
right.
That's my choice. I can go further in my CLIA education, but for me, I don't know if I'm going to do that because I feel like it starts to get expensive as you go up the rungs because they start requiring all these personal cruises. And so it's not just a case of like, yeah, I do have the sales, but then now I'm going to have to look for money to take a 3 night and a 5 night and a 7 night as you move up the rungs.
But you chose to go through those and you took the
Yeah, I
initiative
chose
just like
personally to do it.
I did the VTA, but we didn't just become travel advisors and call ourselves certified travel advisors. Like we did not just because we decided, I decided in 2007 to become a travel advisor and I joined my host agency Travel Planners. It does not mean, oh, she's a certified travel advisor. That's not,
Yeah.
and a lot of people, a lot of agents out there do that. They're like, I just signed up and I'm a certified travel advisor. No, you're really not. So I'm all for any regulation that makes us that makes us, have some
And
skin in the game.
And the other thing for travelers to know when you're engaging a good travel advisor, each supplier we have has training. And the better travel advisors keep up with these product specific trainings for all the different cruise lines and stuff. Cruise lines, tour companies, everybody has some kind of training that you can do. Not everybody does it.
And another thing is all of these suppliers, these cruise lines, these resorts, these tour operators have representatives assigned to us, our business development managers, our strategic account managers. The best agents are always networking and maintaining relationships with these people. We're always having meetings. The best agents are always having meetings and meeting up, having coffees, having a Zoom, whatever, with their
Yeah.
representatives. They don't just register with a cruise line and so be it and leave it at
Next
that.
week, I'm going to on the 21st. I have an Iceland roadshow
Mhm.
where I just went through making all my appointments with different suppliers, DMCs, transport companies, hotels, the Blue Lagoon. Now there's another lagoon people are going to. I have like 12 meetings on the 21st, face to face with new suppliers, hopefully building new relationships so that when my clients do come to me to sell Iceland, hey, guess what? I have contacts to do it. So
And so, like, next week, I'm going to dinner at the Portuguese ambassador's residence to meet with representatives with Portugal and Spain suppliers. I know
yeah,
it sounds I like just saying I'm having dinner at the Portuguese ambassador's residence,
yeah, they're gonna give you bacalao.
I'm going to a France roadshow at the French embassy in a couple weeks, and I'm going to a luxury travel event through my ASTA chapter as well.
Nice.
That's what good travel agents, when you're looking for a travel advisor, that's what we do. We don't just book travel for people. We are always training and networking and meeting people and making these connections to service our clients.
Unfortunately, a lot of marketing is being pushed towards telling people, "Oh, become a travel advisor. It's so easy. You're gonna travel for free."
It's a
I've
great
been
little
doing this
side
for nine
hustle. Yeah.
I've been doing this for 9 years. I can probably count on one hand when I did stuff that wasn't even completely free. But usually we qualify for it because we're selling certain products for people. We're off on a little tangent here, but it peeves me. Like I went to a Tahiti thing the other day and a lot of agents are constantly asking about agent rates before they're even listening to what the supplier has to say about what
Or
they're
they've even
representing.
sold that
Do you
product
have
before.
agent rates? That should be the last question, if I ever asked at all. If it is, it turns out you're interested in selling them and that then you want to do the experience because you know you're going to sell it. A big thing for me is I'm not going on fam trips unless it's going to impact my business in a positive way. I am not doing my fam trips just to travel. And you know we can. There's tons of stuff that gets offered to us, but why am I going to go do something that I really know to myself I'm not going to sell? Just to say, "Oh,
Exactly.
I went on this trip," so no.
Exactly. So that's what, so because there's a travel agent in my area, she's always posting things online about, joining her downline. That's an MLM travel agent,
Yeah,
make money so you could pay for your travel, make money so you could travel for free, blah, 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 blah. That's not what this industry is about. And that's not what we're about
yeah.
at all.
If you're a success, is gonna and this is goes to I'm not a fan of multi-level marketing. If your success is going to be based on you having to suck other people into this company and they're
Mhm.
what's pushing you up and then they're now going downstream, I'm just not a multi-level marketing person.
No, neither am I,
So
and I'm sorry, that's what gives our industry a bad name. I'm sorry,
yeah,
it's what it does. The people that get into it for it's not just an easy little side gig or side hustle. We have to work on behalf of our clients. We have to work to get to the levels that
yeah.
we are at. And 19 years, and I can count maybe on one hand the times I've traveled for free
I
or
have clients in Croatia right now. What do you think the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is? I'm opening WhatsApp to make sure everything's still going right, right? Like I know she's going to be changing cities on the 3rd. What am I doing on the 2nd? I'm calling ahead to the hotel, double checking that my reservations are there. If I have any requests for them, like the two older ladies traveling together, they would like to have their rooms close to each other. That's what I'm doing before I go, before they go. So it's not just that I'm booking people and I set them free. Anybody who's worked with me or works with you, they know that we are with you 100% of the time, from the time you leave till you come back. I am checking on you and I am even tracking their flights back home. That's how I am, you
I
know?
track their flights. I have clients in Bora Bora right now on their honeymoon, and
Yeah,
I contacted, the resort ahead of time to make sure everything was set with their reservation. They're getting special amenities that they wouldn't get if they booked just publicly on
yeah,
the website. They're getting amenities that are available only to us. I am tracking their flights. I am checking
yeah.
in. I'm not bothering them, but I do check in to make sure everything
I
is
let
good.
them know prior. I'll be as involved or not as involved as you need
Mhm.
me to be. And
Yeah.
I always tell them, if you have pictures that you want to send me, send away.
Oh,
Send me
yeah. I
ones that I
love
could
when I
use on my social media. And a lot of them send me a lot of stuff. So it may look like on Gallivant Luxury Travel that I'm in Croatia. No, my client is right now.
I
So,
love
or my
when they do
client's
that.
in Italy, like, so it's just, there is a lot of great benefits to this. But if you're getting into it solely for what you think you're going to get out of it
Yeah. Then
and
don't do it.
benefit yourself, it's
And
probably
and
not
please
the right
just don't
business
then
for
don't
you.
do it, because unless you're actually willing to work for your clients and work hard at all hours of the night, because I've been up in the middle
Yeah,
of the night fixing flights that have been canceled. You have to be willing to market yourself. You have to be willing to create and maintain those relationships with other people in the industry. If you're not willing to do that and think you're just gonna sit there and everyone's gonna come to you to book and you've got yourself a free trip,
yeah,
don't do it. Find something else to do.
yeah. So that's our little off
That's a
tangent there
soapbox.
for the
That's
day,
our
our little
soapbox today.
soapbox. So,
Whew,
what is our key
need
takeaway
a
for
bit
this
here.
podcast? Travel isn't just about where you go, it's about being prepared for what happens along the way. So,
Mhm.
we hope by what we discussed with you today that we can make your travel experience a little less trepidatious. Is that a word?
Can you spell that, please?
Spell it, please. TREPAD. I don't know. We're not doing the spelling bee today. But anyway, we hope that the information we're giving you would just give you a little bit more confidence and a little less anxiety when you're going to travel.
And on that note, we'll see you next time. Happy travels.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Check Bags and Big Tags. When you're ready to book your next dream vacation, be sure to contact your local trusted travel advisor. If you liked what you heard today and want to hear more travel tips and tricks, be sure to hit subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Check Bags and Big Tags. And if you have any questions about travel or topics you want to hear, just send us an email at checkbagsandbigtags@gmail.com. Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, keep dreaming big and chasing those unforgettable adventures.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.